Hi, it's Ian. Welcome to pensionerfitness.com, and today we're going to carry on from last Wednesday. If you remember, last Wednesday we talked about building strength and we talked about the importance of making our muscles stronger. And we also spoke about sarcopenia, which is a natural process which weakens us over time, which is why we need to build our strength. Now, tied in with that, not actually the mechanics of building strength, but tied in with that is today's subject, which is about something called somatopause. Now, somatopause is the proper technical name for this particular bodily event, but we know it as middle-age spread, and it's a bit of a joke. You know, you say, "Well, Uncle Billy, he's got middle-age spread. He's got a bit of a belly on him," and it's a laugh and a joke. But it actually isn't a joke. It's very serious. But unfortunately, for some reason, which is probably money orientated, they don't tell us about it. So, somatopause is the reduction in growth hormone secretions from the pituitary gland, which when you were born as a little baby, those growth hormone secretions were raging through your body, and they helped you grow from that little tiny newborn baby right up through your middle school, right into your teenager, right up to a full-grown, mature adult. But for some reason after that, the body decides it doesn't need it so much, and it starts to reduce the flow. And this has serious effects on the body. Somatopause has, in fact, 4 effects that it will cause on the body. And the first one it does is to reduce your body's ability to burn fat. And so what happens there is why it's called middle-age spread. You start to put weight on. You put weight on because the body, if it can't burn fat, the only thing it knows how to do is store it. And that's exactly what happens. So you're putting on weight, and if you think about it, millions of people in their middle age spend billions of dollars and pounds every year trying to get rid of that extra weight. And it's a shame because it doesn't work. They aren't going to get rid of it. And the reason they won't get rid of it is because they're fighting a symptom, they're not fighting the cause. The cause is a lack of growth hormone, but the symptom is they're putting on weight. Now, if you think of a boat with a hole in the bottom and water's coming in, you're bailing the water away, you're bailing the water is fighting a symptom. The cause is the hole in the bottom. If you close the hole, the symptom stops. So, you need to do something to stop that. And we'll talk about that in a minute. So that's the first thing. The second thing that happens is somatopause affects that low growth hormone, affects how your body absorbs calcium. Now, when you have your food and you take it in, right, it sorts it out and the calcium is sent to the bones. Now, anywhere in the body that needs calcium calls for it. The brain sends the signal down and the bones give out calcium. And then, of course, the calcium you've took in from your food, it circulates. So it's given out, it's taken in, it's given out, it's taken in. And that's normal, and that's not a problem with that. But when you're not absorbing it the same way, it's still giving out at the same rate, but it's not taking it back in the same way. So what happens is the density of the bones go down. And as the density gets less and less, the bones get more brittle, and then they will break much easier. And as you know, many older people, if they fall, break bones, because those bones are very brittle and break very easily. So that's the second one. Now, the third thing that it does is when growth hormone is circulating around your body, when it gets to the liver, it encourages the liver to create another type of growth hormone called IGF-1, which is insulin-like growth factor 1. Now, that is really important for building strength in your muscles, for your cartilages, for all parts of your body. It helps a great deal. But the important thing it does for people our age, and this is a really important thing to remember, is that when it circulates in the blood, IGF-1 going through the arteries in the brain prevents and helps to stop the growth of beta amyloid plaque. And as you're probably aware, that plaque, when it builds up, causes cognitive decline, it causes dementias, and it causes probably the worst of all, which is Alzheimer's, which is a terrible thing to see. People who get that, they call it the long goodbye, and you get these people lying in bed, their children come to visit them, and they don't recognise their own children, which upsets the children, never mind anybody else. It doesn't matter if they're a grown adult or not. When your mum doesn't recognise you or your dad doesn't recognise you, it's upsetting. And of course, none of us want any of that to happen. So, that's the third thing. Now, there's one more thing it does. It affects how the immune system protects your body. So it compromises the immune system. So now, as you're probably aware as well, many older people, when they get into the older ages of their golden years, get all sorts of nasty diseases and horrible things because the shutters are up, the doors are open, and their immune system is wide open. All these diseases can just walk in. And that's caused, right, because of low growth hormone and IGF-1 levels. So that's 4 things that seriously affect you as you get older, or can seriously affect you as you get older. Now, the thing to remember here is there's a silver lining in this dark cloud. And that silver lining is, if you do your exercise, if you build strength, so you're doing the exercise, you build strength. And like I said to you last Wednesday, once you get into that stage where you get to there, where you're forcing that up and you're forcing against it and you're under tension, you're building strength. That building strength effort that you make encourages the pituitary gland to give you more growth hormone. If you get more growth hormone, you get more IGF-1, and then those 4 things start to reduce, or the ability of them to happen starts to reduce. Now, there is one other type of exercise you can do called interval training, and if you do interval training, and let's take running for instance. Not all of you can do that, I understand, but if you're running, you run, you sprint as fast as you can for 20 seconds. And then at the end of that, you let that calm down. You walk for maybe 30 seconds to let that calm down. And then you sprint again. So you build that hard breathing up again, and then you slow down. And you do that 4 or 5 times. That encourages the pituitary gland to create more human growth hormone than before. And so those 2 types, if you're doing 2 types, now interval training, you can do it, you can find, if you can't run, you can find a sloped street somewhere, and you can walk up it, but you can walk up it as hard as you can. Really walk fast. And for 20 seconds, and then when you've done that, turn around, walk down slowly, turn around after your 30 seconds, and do it again, and walk back down, and do it again, and walk back down. Any way you can find a slope that you can walk up, so as it gets you out of breath and breathing heavy. That's what causes the effect. Now, you can do it on a bicycle if you've got one of those static bikes at home that you can sit on and ride and you go nowhere, or on a normal bicycle out on the street. You can still do it. You can pedal hard for 20 seconds and then coast while you get your breath back, and then pedal hard and coast again. That will build it up. So, if you think about that, right, if you do that type of exercises, you're going to enjoy your golden years as much as I do. And I'm quite healthy, fit, you know, because I train every single day. You know, I don't have to worry about that, you know, is somebody going to visit me? I go visit them. I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to stay at home because, wow, look out, the weather doesn't look good today, I'm not going to go out. I can go out, I'm fit and healthy, and I can do that. You can do the same. Remember, your exercises are really important. I can't emphasize that enough. Don't skimp on it. I know probably there's some of you out there are saying, yeah, I'm not going to do that. That's up to you. That's your choice. But my advice is train and push yourself a little bit on your training so that you build up that growth hormone and you protect yourself, because that's what it's all about. You're buying your health. Okay, thank you very much. See you back at pensionerfitness.com.